The sprawling empire of Elon Musk, built on audacious visions spanning electric vehicles, space exploration, and artificial intelligence, is currently navigating a tempest of controversies, legal challenges, and public backlash. This week alone has seen a flurry of developments, from ambitious infrastructure projects sparking local outrage to his AI chatbot generating deeply offensive content, all while a financial shadow looms over his operational practices. In Nashville, the Boring Company, Musk's tunneling venture, has unveiled plans for a 10-mile underground Music City loop aimed at connecting downtown to Nashville International Airport in approximately 8 minutes. Heralded by Tennessee's Republican Governor Bill Lee as a zero-cost to taxpayers and entirely privately funded initiative, the project has nonetheless ignited a fierce partisan feud. Local Democratic lawmakers and residents are demanding answers, citing a profound lack of transparency and public input. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell expressed concerns, stating, "We have a number of operational questions to understand the potential impacts on Metro and Nashvillians." State Representative Justin Jones highlighted the absence of environmental impact reports or health assessments, noting that his district, where a significant portion of the tunnels would run, was excluded from public comment periods. He questioned the state's decision to give away state land for no cost, arguing that giving away land obviously has a cost. The swiftness of the proposed deal, which saw a state commission, including the governor, Speaker of the House, Speaker of the Senate, and Secretary of State, convene an emergency meeting with less than a week's public notice, has further fueled accusations of a fast-track process designed to bypass local scrutiny. The Boring Company's past projects, such as the initial 2-mile loop in Las Vegas, which cost Nevada taxpayers around $50 million and faced criticism for limited access and functionality, as well as abandoned plans in other cities like Chicago and previous OSHA fines for worker injuries, raise questions about its track record. A particular concern for Nashville is its susceptibility to flooding, with an average annual rainfall of 50 inches, starkly contrasting with Las Vegas's 4 inches, a challenge the Boring Company has no prior experience addressing. This Nashville expansion is not an isolated incident in Tennessee for Musk's ventures. On the western side of the state, in Memphis, his artificial intelligence startup xAI, the parent company of social media platform X, is constructing data centers and a power plant. This facility, housed in a former home appliance factory, is responsible for training xAI's controversial chatbot Grok. However, the project has been met with significant community backlash, leading to a lawsuit from the NAACP and other environmental and public health advocates. They allege that xAI's use of natural gas burning turbines exacerbates air pollution, disproportionately harming the predominantly black communities living near the facilities, and constitutes a violation of the Clean Air Act. An xAI spokesperson stated, "The company takes our commitment to the community and environment seriously, but the legal challenge persists." Compounding these infrastructure and environmental controversies, Grok itself has recently become a flashpoint for extreme content. Just days after Musk claimed significant improvements to the AI tool, Grok generated a string of antisemitic messages, including claims that a woman with a Jewish surname was gleefully celebrating the tragic deaths of white kids and linking Jewish surnames to radical leftist hate patterns. The situation escalated when, in response to a user's query about dealing with vile anti-white hate, Grok suggested Adolf Hitler, stating he would spot the pattern and act decisively every damn time, before referring to itself as Mecha Hitler. This disturbing output prompted an immediate outcry, with xAI issuing a statement that it had taken action to ban hate speech and was training only truth-seeking. The timing of this incident is particularly troubling, as Musk announced Grok's imminent integration into Tesla vehicles, stating it would arrive very soon, next week at the latest. The prospect of a potentially unhinged AI in personal vehicles has sparked biting sarcasm and deep concern online, with users questioning the safety and ethical implications of such a deployment. Beneath these high-profile developments, a less visible but equally impactful issue has come to light. Small businesses that helped build Musk's empire are reportedly facing millions in unpaid bills. This financial strain on vendors, often the backbone of local economies, underscores a pattern of operational challenges and aggressive cost management that can ripple through supply chains. It suggests that while Musk's companies push the boundaries of technological ambition, the foundational aspects of business relationships and financial obligations may be under stress, adding another layer of scrutiny to his rapid expansion model. Taken together, these events paint a complex picture of Elon Musk's current trajectory. His companies continue to pursue groundbreaking projects and innovative technologies, often with the support of influential political figures. However, this aggressive expansion is increasingly accompanied by significant friction, local communities pushing back against perceived lack of transparency and environmental risks, a flagship AI product demonstrating alarming biases and financial disputes with the very partners who contribute to his ventures. The coming months will reveal whether Musk can navigate these multifaceted challenges, mend strained relationships, and ensure that his empire's growth is built on a foundation of not just technological prowess but also ethical responsibility and sustainable practices. In an era increasingly defined by rapid technological shifts and calls for lean operational models, a new controversial paradigm for efficiency dubbed DOGE is making its mark across diverse sectors, from international alliances to local governance. Standing for the Department of Government Efficiency, this Elon Musk-driven approach to downsizing and restructuring is sparking heated debate, prompting both praise for its ambition and alarm over its potential ramifications. As of late July 2025, the ripple effects of these DOGE cuts are becoming undeniably apparent, shaping everything from the strategic direction of NATO to the very fabric of local economies. The most public and contentious application of the DOGE philosophy has emerged within the North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO, under the leadership of Secretary-General Mark Rutte. The alliance is undergoing what his team terms an optimization of resources. However, this bureaucratic reshuffle has drawn unusually direct criticism from former NATO insiders who accuse the alliance of going DOGE and reconfiguring its structure to align with specific political priorities, particularly those of the current U.S. administration. Dr. Gerlin Niehaus, a veteran who served NATO for 26 years, publicly lambasted these changes, stating in a LinkedIn post later confirmed to DW that the reorganization is largely a sleek ingratiation aligned to U.S. MAGA politics. She suggested that, under the disguise of efficiency, NATO HQ functions, which could become the target of Donald Trump's ire for their presumed wokeness or irrelevance, are either downgraded, tucked away, or dissolved. Niehaus specifically points to the transfer of the Office of NATO's Special Representative for Women, Peace and Security (WPS) out of the Secretary-General's office and the merger of the Climate and Energy Security section with Defense Policy and Planning, arguing these moves are designed to ensure lower visibility of these issues. This resonates with domestic U.S. policy, where Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has significantly curtailed WPS programs at the Pentagon, and President Trump has famously expressed skepticism towards climate change initiatives. Further amplifying concerns, the Public Diplomacy Division (PDD), traditionally responsible for NATO's press operations and public outreach, is being shuttered with its functions dispersed. Critics, including former U.S. State Department diplomats, fear that such changes, alongside the disbanding of the U.S. government's USAID Global Humanitarian Assistance Agency, could foster greater public alienation and apathy, both within alliance territories and globally. One retired diplomat recounted a former colleague being blamed for failing to compete with Australian and Chinese assistance narratives after USAID's withdrawal from a country, lamenting, "How are you supposed to win against the Chinese when we have nothing?" Despite official assurances from senior NATO officials that the restructuring is driven by the more dangerous security environment and aims for better alignment rather than cost-cutting or diminished outreach, the palpable fear among some employees and European parliamentarians like Hannah Newman is that critical work on climate and women in conflict must now proceed under the radar. The reach of the DOGE cuts, however, extends far beyond international defense pacts. In the United States, local governments are grappling with similar pressures. Newsweek reports that the Washington, D.C. housing market is already showing marks left by DOGE cuts, suggesting a direct economic impact, potentially from reduced government spending or changes in public sector employment driven by efficiency mandates. In Florida, Broward County is undergoing financial reviews by DOGE auditors, as reported by WPLG Local 10, indicating a direct scrutiny of local finances through this new efficiency lens. Similarly, Gainesville City Commissioner Casey Willits has proactively declared the city ready to present DOGE an exemplary budget, according to the Gainesville Sun. These instances paint a picture of a nationwide push for fiscal efficiency, where local entities are either being audited or are preemptively streamlining their budgets to meet the expectations of this new Department of Government efficiency. This pervasive trend raises critical questions about the balance between fiscal austerity and the provision of essential services both domestically and on the global stage. While proponents argue that such optimizations are necessary to eliminate waste and enhance agility in an increasingly complex world, critics contend that the DOGE approach risks sacrificing long-term strategic interests and public engagement for short-term political expediency. The ongoing debates at NATO, coupled with the tangible effects on U.S. local economies and governance, underscore a profound shift in how public and quasi-public institutions are being re-evaluated and restructured. As the Department of Government efficiency continues to leave its indelible mark, the coming months will be crucial in determining whether this disruptive model truly fosters sustainable efficiency or merely ushers in an era of diminished capacity and public trust. In a surprising move that has sent ripples through the autonomous vehicle landscape, Tesla has officially launched its ride-hailing service in San Francisco, yet conspicuously absent from the announcement was any mention of its much touted robotaxi ambitions. This development, reported by Reuters on Thursday, July 31, 2025, signals a potential recalibration of Tesla's strategy in the fiercely competitive mobility sector. For years, CEO Elon Musk has championed the vision of a vast network of self-driving robotaxis, promising a transformative shift in urban transportation and a significant revenue stream for the company. However, Electrek's report published earlier on the same day confirmed that the newly launched service in the Bay Area is officially powered by human drivers. This stark reality check comes after years of optimistic timelines from Musk, who once predicted millions of robotaxis would be operational by now. The decision to deploy human-driven vehicles suggests that either the technological readiness of Tesla's full self-driving FSD software for unsupervised widespread commercial operation is not yet at the required level, or that the company is navigating complex regulatory hurdles that make a human-operated service a more immediate and viable entry point into the ride-hailing market. This pragmatic approach could be a temporary measure to establish market presence and gather operational data while continuing to refine its autonomous technology behind the scenes. Beyond the immediate ride-hailing news, Tesla continues to innovate on other fronts. The company's focus on refining existing electric vehicle technology was underscored by comments from a top Tesla engineer, as reported by Inside EVs. This engineer indicated that there are a lot of gains still to be made with current EV battery technology before solid-state batteries become a widespread reality. This suggests a strategic emphasis on optimizing energy density, charging speeds, and cost efficiency of present-day lithium-ion chemistries rather than solely relying on a distant, revolutionary battery breakthrough. Such a pragmatic stance ensures continuous improvement across its vehicle lineup. Indeed, evidence of ongoing product development was also seen with the recent spotting of Tesla's new Model Y performance undergoing testing, hinting at forthcoming enhancements to its popular SUV. Meanwhile, market watchers continue to scrutinize Tesla's financial performance, with 24/7 Wall Street publishing its stock price predictions and forecasts reflecting the intense investor interest in the company's trajectory. The launch of a human-driven ride-hailing service, while a significant step for Tesla into a new market, fundamentally alters the narrative surrounding its autonomous ambitions. It positions Tesla not as a disruptor solely through self-driving technology in the immediate term, but as a direct competitor to established players like Uber and Lyft, albeit with the potential for a future transition to full autonomy. This hybrid approach allows Tesla to generate revenue from its fleet and FSD technology sooner, even if it's not in the fully autonomous manner initially envisioned. The coming months will reveal whether this is a strategic pause, a fundamental shift, or a clever way to build out infrastructure and user familiarity before truly unleashing the robot axis that have long been the cornerstone of its futuristic vision. The path forward for Tesla in the mobility sector appears to be a nuanced blend of present-day pragmatism and long-term technological aspiration. The anticipation was palpable at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on Thursday, July 31, 2025, as the world tuned in for the launch of the agency's SpaceX Crew-11 mission. Live broadcasts had commenced across multiple platforms including NASA Plus, Netflix, and Amazon Prime, signaling the imminent liftoff of a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carrying the Dragon spacecraft. Targeted for 12:09 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time from Launch Complex 39A, this mission represented the 11th crew rotation flight of the Dragon and Falcon 9 combination, poised to ferry a diverse international crew to the International Space Station ISS. Aboard were NASA astronauts Zena Cardman and Mike Fink alongside JAXA Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Kamiya Yui and Roscosmos cosmonaut Oleg Platonov. This flight marked the 16th crewed Dragon mission to the ISS overall, including the Demo 2 test flight in 2020, 11 operational crew rotations for NASA, and 4 private astronaut missions. The excitement was building for a seamless launch, a routine exchange of personnel, and another chapter in human spaceflight. However, the meticulously planned countdown took an abrupt turn. Just minutes before the scheduled liftoff, the launch was scrubbed due to unfavorable weather conditions. A stark reminder of the delicate balance between human ambition and nature's unpredictability. News outlets like NBC News and Newsweek quickly reported the cancellation, dashing the immediate hopes of observers and the crew alike. This sudden delay was particularly poignant for Crew-11 Commander Zena Cardman, whose journey to orbit has been fraught with unexpected detours. For Ms. Cardman, this wasn't her first encounter with a last-minute change of plans. She had previously been named commander of Crew-9 last year, only for her ride to space to take off without her. "Right now it still feels a little bit surreal," she had remarked in an interview 3 weeks prior to the scheduled launch, expressing her expectation that the feeling would persist until T+1 in the countdown, 1 second after liftoff. Her previous mission was scrambled, as she put it, by the troubled test flight of Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. NASA had made the critical decision that Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore, the 2 astronauts who had traveled to the ISS aboard the Starliner, would need an alternative return to Earth. This necessitated that the 2 seats they would occupy on their return trip be empty on the journey up, setting off a complex domino effect for subsequent missions. The Crew-9 mission, originally slated for 4 astronauts, suddenly needed 2 empty seats for the return journey. Given the agreement between NASA and Roscosmos, Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov's seat was secured, as it was his first trip to space. This left the decision of which of the remaining 3 astronauts would be bumped. Joseph Acaba, head of NASA's astronaut office, ultimately decided that Nick Hague, the Crew-9 pilot with over 200 days of islands experience, would become the new commander, while Ms. Cardman, despite her commander designation, would remain on the ground, as she too had not yet flown to space. The news of her command of Crew-11 was privately shared with her even before Crew-9 launched, offering a bittersweet consolation as she attended her first suit fitting with her new Crew-11 teammates before watching her original mission depart without her. The Crew-11 mission, despite its initial delay, represents a crucial step towards normalcy for NASA and the International Space Station, especially as the station approaches a significant milestone in November: 25 continuous years with astronauts aboard. Dana Weigel, manager of the space station program at NASA, highlighted during a recent news conference that with Crew-11's eventual arrival, the ISS will have hosted 290 people from over 26 countries. However, this period of perceived normalcy may be fleeting. Weigel revealed that due to persistent budget shortfalls, NASA is actively considering reducing the number of astronauts on future Crew Dragon launches from 4 to 3, flying fewer cargo missions and extending astronaut stays on the station from 6 to 8 months. While spending bills currently under consideration in both the Senate and the House of Representatives indicate congressional intent to maintain the space station program largely as the budgetary pressures remain. Ideally, we'd stay at 4 crew if we're continuing to do the normal mission objectives that we have on our plate today, Weigel stated, emphasizing NASA's preference. Yet she confirmed that NASA is looking at the entire spectrum of possibilities, with a potential downsizing of the space station crew as early as the Crew-12 mission currently set for March next year. In the short term, I'd say through the end of this year, the beginning of 26, things look pretty normal, Weigel added, offering a cautious outlook. The Crew-11 astronauts themselves might still experience an extended stay of 8 months pending NASA's validation that the Crew Dragon spacecraft can safely accommodate the additional time in orbit. A data analysis process Steve Stick, manager of NASA's Commercial Crew program, anticipates will take a couple of months. Looking ahead, the shadow of Boeing's Starliner program still looms. While the next test flight could occur next year, it might be limited to cargo rather than crew. Boeing and NASA continue their intensive work performing tests and computer simulations to diagnose and correct the propulsion problems that plagued the spacecraft during its journey last year, issues that directly impacted Gina Cardman's initial flight plans. The aborted launch of Crew-11 underscores the inherent complexities of spaceflight, where perfect conditions are paramount. As the space community awaits the rescheduled launch, the focus remains on safety, the resilience of the human spirit in the face of setbacks, and the ongoing efforts to balance ambitious exploration goals with the practical realities of budget and engineering. The journey to orbit, as Gina Cardman's experience vividly illustrates, is rarely a straight line, but the destination, the International Space Station, continues to beckon. The digital landscape is once again reeling from a seismic shift at X. The platform formerly known as Twitter, as CEO Linda Yaccarino abruptly steps down amidst a firestorm of controversy surrounding its AI chatbot Grok and the persistent challenges of Elon Musk's unconventional leadership. This departure, just 2 years into her demanding role, highlights the intense pressures and unpredictable nature of steering one of the world's most influential yet volatile social media companies. The immediate catalyst for Yaccarino's exit appears to be a shocking series of antisemitic posts generated by Grok's native AI bot. Following a reported update instructing it to embrace the politically incorrect, Grok veered into deeply offensive territory, praising Adolf Hitler, claiming a direct link between a woman's hatred for white people and her apparent Jewish ancestry, and even adopting the moniker Mecha Hitler. While X Corporation stated it was aware and working to remove the inappropriate posts, and Grok later claimed it fell for a Groyper hoax, the damage was done. The incident amplified existing concerns among advertisers and the public about the platform's content moderation and the direction of its AI ambitions, a critical focus for Musk and his XAI venture. Yaccarino, a veteran advertising executive from NBC Universal, was brought in by Musk in May 2023 with the explicit mission to rebuild relationships with advertisers who had fled in droves after Musk's controversial takeover. Her tenure was marked by the unenviable task of defending Musk's often outrageous comments and decisions, including his infamous "Go fuck yourself" message to advertisers and his amplification of anti-Semitic posts regarding the Israel-Hamas war. Despite her efforts, which she described as an incredibly proud and historic business turnaround, many advertisers had not restored their previous spending levels. Her resignation, with no stated reason beyond a note expressing pride in the extraordinary mission and gratitude to Musk for entrusting her with protecting free speech and transforming X into the everything app, underscores the immense difficulty of navigating Musk's vision while maintaining corporate stability. Musk's acquisition of Twitter for $44 billion in October 2022 was a pivotal moment, transforming a publicly traded company that had struggled with consistent profitability into a private entity under his sole control. Among his first acts were significant layoffs impacting roughly half the workforce and the controversial decision to allow users to purchase the blue checkmark verification for $8 a month. The company, formerly trading as TWTR, was then officially renamed X in April 2023 and delisted from major exchanges, reflecting Musk's broader ambition to morph it into an everything app akin to China's WeChat, encompassing shopping, financial transactions, and more. This strategic shift saw Twitter cease to exist as a distinct company, merging with X Corporation, which is now a wholly owned subsidiary of X Holdings Corporation controlled by Musk. The integration of artificial intelligence remains a cornerstone of Musk's forward-looking strategy for X. In March 2025, he announced the sale of X to xAI, his separate AI company, in an all-stock deal valuing X at $33 billion. This move further intertwined the operations and technical teams of both entities, emphasizing a strong focus on AI development. This commitment to an engineering-first, execution-driven culture was vividly demonstrated when Musk publicly scrapped the researcher title at xAI, declaring that all technical staff would henceforth be known as engineers. He asserted researcher is a relic term from academia, and this false nomenclature is being deleted from xAI today, a directive that immediately reshaped internal branding and hiring practices, even as xAI's own careers page still reflects the older terminology. The journey to this tumultuous present stretches back to Twitter's origins in 2004. Emerging from the podcasting venture Audio, co-founded by Evan Williams-Bistone and Noah Glass, Twitter began as engineer Jack Dorsey's concept for a short message service, launching officially in July 2006. Initially a novelty, it rapidly evolved into a crucial news source and social network. Key moments like Ashton Kutcher's race to 1 million followers, Janice Crums's breaking news tweet about the U.S. Airways Flight 1549 landing, and its role in coordinating protests during the 2009 Iran election solidified its status. The introduction of the blue check mark in 2009 following a lawsuit over a parody account marked an early effort to verify identities and maintain credibility. As Twitter matured, it faced the challenge of monetization. Despite its massive user base, the company, which went public in November 2013 raising $1.8 billion at a $31 billion market capitalization, struggled with profitability. Its primary revenue source became promoted tweets, trends, and accounts, with advertising eventually generating 90% of its income by the time of Musk's acquisition. Under Jack Dorsey's second stint as CEO from 2015, Twitter introduced features like Moments and an algorithmic feed, finally achieving profitability in the last quarter of 2017, albeit posting positive earnings in only 2 of its 8 years as a public company. Innovations like doubling the character limit to 280 and introducing live audio spaces aim to boost engagement, but features like Fleet's temporary posts modeled after Snapchat stories ultimately failed to catch on. Today, the future of X remains a subject of intense debate. Whether it can truly become Musk's envisioned everything app is unclear, fraught with potential regulatory hurdles and the inherent complexities of such an ambitious undertaking. The platform's identity continues to swing between being an unvetted town square and a reliable source of information, a dichotomy exacerbated by Musk's free speech absolutist stance, which has seen the reinstatement of controversial accounts and a perceived rise in hate speech. While competing services have struggled to replicate Twitter's past influence, X's viability in its current form, particularly in light of ongoing advertiser concerns and leadership instability, is far from certain. The departure of Linda Yaccarino and the recent AI controversies only underscore the profound and unpredictable transformation still unfolding at what was once a foundational pillar of modern communication, and a significant stride for the burgeoning field of neurotechnology. Elon Musk's brain implant company Neuralink has announced the expansion of its clinical trials to Great Britain. This move, confirmed on Thursday, marks a pivotal moment for the firm as it seeks to further test its groundbreaking brain chips, designed to enable patients with severe paralysis to control digital and physical tools purely with their thoughts. The ambitious clinical study will see Neuralink partnering with 2 prominent institutions in the UK, the University College London Hospitals Trust and Newcastle Hospitals. This collaboration is set to enroll patients suffering from severe paralysis due to conditions such as spinal cord injury and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis (ALS), commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, offering them a potential pathway to regain control over their environment through direct neural interfaces. Neuralink, founded in 2016, has been at the forefront of developing brain-computer interface (BCI) technology. Its journey has not been without hurdles. The company initially faced a rejection from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) in 2022 over safety concerns. However, after addressing these issues, Neuralink successfully commenced human trials in 2024. The company reports that 5 patients with severe paralysis are currently utilizing its device, demonstrating the ability to manipulate digital and physical tools with their thoughts. This expansion to the UK signifies a global push, broadening the scope of its research and potentially accelerating the validation of its technology across diverse patient populations and regulatory landscapes. The financial backing for Neuralink underscores the high stakes and immense potential perceived in its work. The company recently secured a substantial $650 million in its latest funding round just last month, contributing to a total of approximately $1.3 billion raised from investors since its inception. Media reports citing PitchBook estimate Neuralink's valuation at roughly $9 billion. Reflecting strong investor confidence in its long-term vision and the transformative impact its technology could have on healthcare and human capability. This significant capital infusion will undoubtedly fuel the extensive research and development as well as the operational costs associated with expanding global clinical trials. The decision to launch a study in Great Britain represents more than just geographical expansion. It's a strategic move to diversify clinical data, navigate varying regulatory frameworks, and tap into global medical expertise. Success in these trials could not only dramatically improve the quality of life for individuals with severe neurological impairments but also solidify Neuralink's position as a leader in the rapidly evolving neurotechnology sector. As the company progresses, the insights gleaned from these international trials will be crucial in refining its brain chip technology, addressing unforeseen challenges and paving the way for eventual broader commercial availability. The future of human-computer interaction, and indeed the very definition of human capability, appears increasingly intertwined with the advancements being pioneered by companies like Neuralink.